Hi guys, welcome back. Kim here, Transformation Studio, and this video is about healing. Last video, I gave you guys a quick synopsis of my life and where my trauma comes from. And I really want to say thank y'all for watching the video. It's something when you put yourself out there and you allow yourself to be vulnerable, because by nature I am a very private person, very, very private. Like, even my best friends will be like, girl, I don't even know. I'm just private. And so I'm needing to shed some of that and put myself out there, because I know I'm not the only one dealing with this. And how dare I hold back my story to stay in my comfort zone when there are women and men who could, well, for one, their life could be saved if I were to open my mouth, and two, on a national um, scale, the community of Black people, we need to start with this healing, and we need to stop playing, because it's getting real out here in these streets. It's been real out here in these streets, but it's really getting real here out here in these streets. And so, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. So thank y'all for watching. And then I got some subscribers, and then y'all just sent me words of love and encouragement. And even if you just liked my post, that meant a lot to me. So I just again want to say, thank y'all. And hopefully this video will be helpful. I want to tell my story, but I also want to present techniques I've employed to get past the rough stage. And you can't get past it. I mean, I've been dealing with it for years, but once I got serious about healing, I now am able to breathe and start to enjoy life, which honestly, you would see me out smiling and laughing, but deep on the inside, I just was a tormented soul. So here we go. Hopefully, you guys will be able to take this trip with me. I'm going to get a little deep, just because, my beliefs are a little quote unquote deep, I guess. And some people may be able to get with it, and some people maybe not. That's fine. Again, this channel isn't for everybody, but hopefully I can touch somebody's life with what I'm sharing, with what I learned. And so, I really want to be able to facilitate healing for Black men and Black women for such a time as this. We are getting ready to go into a phase, a space that is going to be real. It's going to be real, real. And if we don't start getting our minds and our hearts right, a lot of us are just not going to make it through, physically, spiritually, and mentally. We're just not going to make it through. So this video, I want to talk about the number one step I found to work for me when it comes to healing. It ain't popular. It definitely wasn't popular with me when I really learned that's what I had to do. I was like, but can't it be like another way? Like, can I go get a book or a podcast or something? Like, do I have to do this? I ran away from it for quite a while, but I just ended up coming right back to it. Finally gave into it and did it. And that thing is, it's some things you got to let go of, boo. It's some things you got to let go of. There are some vices in your life you got to let go of. It's imperative, because a lot of these vices keep us going in that perpetual circle where we high one moment in life, then the next moment we low, and then we high and we low. We never can quite balance out. And eventually that's going to lead to your destruction, because being up and down is very unstable, and is not sustainable. It is not a sustainable lifestyle. So we need to, I had to, and I'm still eliminating my vices. And I have notes here, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So looking at my little notes. Uh, basically, the first thing I want to get you to understand is that everything has its roots in the unseen realm. Everything seen comes from what's unseen. I am working on planting a garden, and it's really cool because I've never done it before. I've never done it before, but to plant a seed, especially something so small, cover it with some dirt, water it every now and then, and put it in some sun, and then to see what comes from that. It's amazing. It's something so simple. See, we eat food every day. We go to the grocery store. We don't even think about this. But to actually plant something and to go check on it every day, like I do, it's just if anything's happening and nothing is happening, and then one day you go out there and you see a little sprout, my mind has been blown. And so that's what it is when it comes to healing. There's something that is unseen, that is working, that is happening within you, and it could have been planted in you from birth, and it could have even been something that has been passed down to you when we talk about generational curses. Um, so the really hard first step is going in there and seeing what has been planted. Why is it that I'm going through what I'm going through? Why do I find myself in these same patterns? And when you really start to dive deep into it, a lot of times you'll be very surprised at what you found. I have something here that I thought was really interesting, and not interesting because it's new, but interesting because science is just now catching up with this idea, and then low key, high key pisses me off. But let me go here so I don't go off somewhere else. So epigenetic transgenerational inheritance is basically talking about your DNA sequence. So this is a DNA sequence that is the building block of biology. It directly regulates what genes are on and off and regulates how organisms, you being the organism, functions. So when the DNA sequence has an abnormality or mutation, so a trauma, an environmental factor, something that mutates that gene, then the genes aren't turning on and off correctly. The the physiology of the organ system is abnormal, and now the organism, you have a susceptibility to develop dis-ease, disease. So that's why when you go to the doctor and they're taking all your information, checking your blood pressure, all that, they ask you if your family has a medical history. That's because they know it's in the family. It travels through your DNA. So if it's that way for diseases like high blood pressure, um, diabetes, heart disease, whatever other disease may travel down your family line, how much more so are spiritual diseases traveling down the family line? I don't think we think about that a lot. I don't. I don't think, because black people for centuries and even now, we are stuck on survival mode, right? And when you're stuck on survival mode, you don't really take care of the things that are unseen. Because right now, you just need to take care of what's seen. Okay, the kids got shoes. The kids can go to school. Okay, I still got my job. I'm able to work these hours. My car working. We're good. Okay, get the bills paid. Can the lights stay on? All right, cool. My kids, my boys not going out here getting shot because they acting crazy or just because they're black. Okay. This is survival mode. So who has time to sit back and look at what's unseen? And that hurts my heart because I can look around at the black community today, at my people, and we are operating in some for real epigenetic transgenerational diseases. For real. So think about this. If your mama's mama went through severe trauma and slavery, that whole Middle Passage slavery thing, that was terrible. and she didn't get help. And then your daddy's daddy went through trauma as well, you know, middle passage slavery thing. And then once that was done, then was Jim Crow trauma. After Jim Crow trauma, then was, you know, that civil rights era trauma. It was traumatic. And then, you know, it's just now trauma. Like the traumas never stop. And we nationally, as a people, have not had healing. And I am disgusted that the government has not set forth resources so if a Black person wants to, they can get free counseling, free therapy. You got to have insurance and got to be able to hold down a job to get that. And a lot of times, if it's really bad, like I went through that, I couldn't hold down a job. And my anxiety, I would be okay. I would get the job for maybe the first week or two, maybe even a couple months. I'd be all right. But then that cycle would come back around again, and then the trauma and anxiety would stir up. And before I knew it, I was unable to keep the job, and now I'm unable to keep benefits, and now I'm unable to keep my therapist and counselor. Like, it's so whack, and it makes me mad. So let me not get off up into that, because I can go on a tangent. Because it really, it's terrible. So the first thing we need to do is take a look at that. And a lot of times you can look at your family and see what's the pattern. Like, what is mama dealing with? How has mama always been? What's one of mama's vices? Does she yell a lot? Or does she hold things in a lot? Was daddy around? If not, why wasn't he around? And if he was around, was he a present force in my life? And really, you could just go on down the line and even start to ask questions if you have your family around. Like, did grandma ever tell you about anything she went through as a child? Just start digging. And I guarantee you will find a pattern for what you're dealing with. So, since I've laid that out, I believe that the spiritual realm is really real, that it really is a real thing. If you watch my last video, which was entitled, I'm Supposed to Be Dead, you'll understand and you'll see that I've been stalked. I think it's been 5 times by random men. And that's hard to fathom. It doesn't make sense. It almost sounds like some kind of like Tyler Perry story. That's just like, okay, now that's just a lot. Like, really? 5 dudes? Really? You know, it don't make no sense. But what I came to realize is that it is a spiritual thing. And when I realized this, it freaked me out. For about a good couple months, I was freaked out. I mean, I was jumping at everything. Like, I was having nightmares. Like, it was rough. Because the idea that the spiritual world is real, the unseen realm, right? Just like we have things going on in our body that we can't see, but it's going on and it's dictating what's happening in our bodies. So is the spiritual realm, the unseen realm. Energetically, you know, what you want to call them, energies or vibrations or demons or whatever. There are high vibrations and then there are low. They are light, they are dark. Whether you like it or not, that's what it is. And what I realized is that it is a generational curse, because I went back through my family's history, starting with my mother, and I started to see a pattern of things. And that's the first realization, is that I'm not trying to freak you out, but that's the spirit world is real. And so when you allow things that have dark frequencies, like there are dark energies connected to them. I call them sin. Some people at the word of sin, they just get irritated and they don't want to hear nothing about it, because all of a sudden they picture, you know, a Baptist preacher in the pulpit, sweating, screaming in the mic, and everybody falling out on the floor from the Holy Ghost, and just lies and just hypocrisy and all that. So they don't want to hear nothing about it. So if it's better for you to call it dark energies, the dark frequencies, whatever, but it's real. Those dark energies have a license to operate in your life when you are attached to like frequencies, right? So it may not be a bad thing to have a glass of wine or two just to, relax and have fun. But when you're going on glass 6 and 7 and you're out of your mind, you start to do things that normally you wouldn't do. Or let's say if, you smoke just to relax and just to free your mind or whatever you call it. And you find yourself getting so high that your mind is taken somewhere else and you start to get lazy and you don't want to do nothing, or you get hypersexual. These are dark energies, right? And uh, like, like, what's the word? It's something that we say. It's not real, recognize real. Some along those lines where like frequencies gather together. So, if it's a girl in a group of friends who's a hoe, she's a hoe. When you see it with her friends, you're going to be like, it's probably a group of hoes. like, right? That whole idea. So, the number one step in healing is eliminating as best as possible those vices, those dark, energetic vices. Um, and the reason is because those are stumbling blocks that may start off innocent, like smoking may start off innocent, drinking may start off innocently. But over time, if you don't get to the core of what is causing you to do that every day, multiple times a day, if it gets to that point, then that can become a stumbling block. Because every time you're faced with an adversity, then comes this automatic response of going into those vices. And not only do you feel you need to continue to do those vices because they provide a sense of relief. Honestly, like getting high, getting twisted, getting drunk, even having sex. I mean, those things feel like highs for the time being. It takes your mind off of it. You're able to, feel empowered or relaxed or whatever it does for you. And then when that wears off, then you're back to facing your own thoughts. So if you can't have a healthy thought life, healthy patterns in life, consistently on a consistent basis, and you need something outside of yourself to facilitate any type of calm or high or distraction, you may want to take a look at that. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Everything I say here is from personal experience. It's not just something that sounds good because I want to have a YouTube channel and get likes and subscribers and all that stuff. This is like personally what I've gone through. And when I really got serious about it, like when the pressure was tight, when I was literally like realizing, yo, I'm not going to be able to live too much longer with this level of stress, this level of anxiety and torment. It's if I don't lose my mind from this, then this stress is going to cause, stress can cause so many terrible diseases. Either way, I'm going to be out of there. I'm not going to be able to enjoy my life. So once I really got real about it and I learned about the spiritual realm and how it operates, I was like, oh, it's some doors I got to close. That was hard. When you try to tell people to close doors to what makes them feel good, something that they've known all their life, they ain't trying to hear that. Like, what? Excuse me, you want me to do what now? Oh, okay. No, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that. I mean, maybe I'll read a book. Maybe I'll read a book, get a podcast, go on IG or something, watch a video. But nah, I'm not finna get rid of that. So you got to make that choice. And I'm realistic. It don't just happen in a day. You got to step down off of some things. Like if you smoke a blunt a day, maybe the next day try smoking half of the blunt, 3/4 of the blunt, and then work your way on down. Or if you tend to overindulge in drinking, maybe instead of having that fourth glass, you just stay with 3. I mean, step down off of it. And then just try for yourself and see See if your mind isn't more clear. See if you don't have a certain amount of peace. It sounds like that's the antithesis of healing because now I gotta face it. But honestly, it's like that plant and seed metaphor. You gotta go down there and look at what's underneath all the dirt and worms and all that nasty stuff to see what was planted in you by your environment, by your family, biologically, whatever. So if you are interested in seeing what life could be like as you try to eliminate some of these vices, but you just find it hard to do, you've tried it before and it didn't work, you did it for like a week, you did it for a couple of days, maybe even a month, but after that, you just were back to square one, which made you feel even more guilty. So why even try? I'm okay like this. Then there are three techniques that I want you to try to see if it doesn't help you in that. The first technique is to identify your triggers. A lot of times we think that we do the things we do, our vices, that in the back of our mind, we're like, this probably isn't so good for me. Like in 5 to 10 years, I could see this causing a real problem, even though right now I'm fine. A lot of times we need to identify our triggers. So, what's your trigger? Like if you smoke or if you drink, when do you tend to do those things? Or if you're into pornography and you want to get away from it because you see the stuff you're getting into is just darker and darker. What are your triggers? Some people's triggers are they're on a high. So maybe they got a promotion or they got a new relationship or just something good in their life happens. They tend to go toward their vice. On the opposite side, it could be you're triggered by lows. So maybe a memory triggers you, or you lose your job, or you lose um, a loved one, or a relationship, or an argument, or your car don't start. It could be anything. Identify your triggers. Once you become aware that something in your brain, whenever these triggers happen, you'll at least say, "Oh, this is a trigger." Now, whether you reach for that thing, that vice, or not, at least now you're aware that that's a trigger. That's the first step. The next step I would say is get some sun. As black and brown people, we need the sun. Like, need the sun like we need air. There is something that recharges and regenerates us, I believe, at a molecular level when we get out in the sun. Now, whoever they is, they want us to stay outside and social distance, whatever. But if you go sit outside your house and get some sun, go go somewhere and get some sun and just sit in it. I know it's hot, but like for 5 minutes and just breathe. Breathing is another great technique. Whenever you feel the trauma or trigger, breathing, right? So maybe breathing in for 5 counts and then blowing out for 5 counts and doing that for a minute to lower your heart rate, to lower your fight or flight response that's triggered is phenomenal. And the next thing I would say is write it out. It sounds corny. I've been to multiple therapists, and the things that they told me to do, one of the things that they told me to do, each one was to write. And it just sounds corny to me. Like, I don't like feeling corny. And sitting there writing feels so corny. Like, oh, today this and this happened. It made me feel, sounds whack, but it really does help. As a people, we are expressive, right? So we express ourselves in amazing ways. So whether you're just journaling or you write poetry or you rap or you sing, write how you feel. Or let's say if you, I don't know, if you really got to get it out and you don't have nothing to write, go to an empty location, just scream in your car. Like, go to an empty location so, you know, nobody think you over there getting chopped up or anything. But God, either way, what I'm saying is get it out. Start that process of getting it out. What I found, what I do is I meditate, and this has been a process that I've had to work at, and I had to find what kind of meditation works for me. Not everything works for everybody. Like sitting there going with my eyes closed, that don't work for me. So I'll give you an example of what I do, and then maybe you can alter it to what fits you. But this is definitely important, especially with the days to come. Please, the days to come, it's going to get tighter, things are going to get crazier. Now is the time. So what I do is I'm a coffee girl. So I go and I fix my coffee. I don't even look at my cell phone. I don't want no distraction while and before I meditate. So I don't even look at my phone when I get up in the morning. I don't check my Instagram notifications, none of that. I don't do any of that because I don't want any distractions. I go, I make my coffee, I sit, and I just let my mind go. I just sip my coffee. I enjoy it. If you enjoy tea or like whatever, water, hydrate, drink something. Sit there and let your mind roam. A lot of times it's going to think about the dream you had that night or a conversation you had the day prior or something you have to do today. Your mind is going to go. You ain't got to sit there and think of nothing. It's going to go. And then because I've trained myself, by the time I'm finished with my coffee, my thoughts have slowed down a bit and I'm feeling a bit more free. I'm not as caged in by thoughts that are flying and zooming all around me. I'm able to now kind of breathe and feel a sort of peace. And when that happens, then I put on my worship music. I have not always been someone to listen to gospel music. I'll admit, I've always been the girl to come late to church on purpose because I never was a worshiper, which is horrible because that's actually uh, one of the main ways to admonish or communicate with him because he made us to be that way. I mean, when you think about it, who in the world is better at music than black people? Oh, wait. Oh, you can't think of nobody? Okay. So, but that's a side note. If you're not into that, because I had to learn to get into that seriously, and it took me a while. I just wasn't. It just didn't do anything for me. But once you get in a tight enough spot, once your life get real hectic, them gospel songs hit a different way. You be like, yes, yes. So, to each his own. But what you can also do is put on nature sounds, beach sounds. I love beach sounds. And just sit there and just allow your mind to roam. And then once your mind quiets down, start breathing. That breathing in for 5 counts and then breathing out for 5 counts. And all of these things may feel corny. All of these things felt extremely corny to me when I first started them. I couldn't sit down for 5 minutes to like focus. So just thinking about meditating, I couldn't do it. But I'm telling you, it's something about having a clear mind. Get your vibration up, get your vibration up, and then healing comes. But if everything around you is so chaotic, especially inside of you, it's going to be very, very hard to heal. So I've went for about 30 minutes. That's a long time. Thank you for sticking it out with me. Again, honestly, can I be honest with y'all? Can I tell y'all something before I go? Okay. So I I studied acting and I just knew, right? I was gonna be a Broadway actress, Hollywood actress, because I'm really good at it. I just knew it. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be me. So when I started to feel like, okay, I want to have a YouTube channel, I thought, okay, I'll have a YouTube channel where I act. Never in a million years did I think I would be talking about spiritual things on my YouTube channel. This is not glamorous. This is not what I wanted to do, y'all. I just really hope y'all understand that this is not what I wanted to do. I wasn't supposed to be this type of person. Okay? I wasn't. I was supposed to be somewhere in New York City sipping my latte, walking with my artsy friends in Harlem, getting ready for my performance that night. Like that was my life. And then God was like, "Oh, that's what you want to do. Oh, that's cute. That's cool. Aww." So this is coming straight from my heart. I am being authentic as I can be. So thank y'all for hanging in with me. And I hope this really provides some type of launching pad, or if you did start the work and for some reason you stopped, hopefully this will get you back into it. Because again, I cannot stress enough, as a people, we got to get it together soon, real soon. And we can't get it together unless we start the work individually. It sounds cliche, but that's what it really is. Black men, I talk to them every day. There are black women out here who are just craving a black man who is spiritually and physically sound and fit. Uh, Black men, I, black women, I've met some incredible black men who are great guys who are just like, I gotta find a woman with her mind right. So let's get it together. Okay, I say that to you and I say that to myself. I love you guys. I talk about black people because I'm very passionate about black people and because I am black. Okay. I love y'all. Please subscribe. Pass this video along. It's been long, I know. God bless your heart for tuning in this long. But we go get this together, okay? Stay tuned for the next video. Bye.